Silakan Ibu Ida, acaranya sudah kita akan mulai.
Baik, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Assalamualaikum.
wabarakatuh.
Peace be upon us. Greetings.
Salam sejahtera, selamat pagi, salam sehat.
Good morning, and I hope everyone is well. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, participants, and as well as the speakers in the learning event of a decade of journey
Program Biogas Rumah
of the IBDP, Indonesian Biogas Development Domestic Program. In this opportunity,
akan masuk pada sesi diskusi
we are entering the discussion session on the topic
peluang dalam
capturing the opportunities in the development of biogas market.
kita akan membahas
We will discuss this theme or this topic
dengan terlebih dahulu
with
kita akan mendengarkan pemaparan dari empat
listening to the presentations from four speakers. We have Bapak Benny, we have Haris from ATEC, we have Pak Bendjamin from BSN, and Ibu Jamila Bravo from PT Eco Verde. However, before the presentation, allow me to
menyampaikan tentang apa itu
say in brief to explain the BIRU program. So the BIRU program is a multi-stakeholder program initiated by HIVOS with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources in 2009. And in 2012,
Yayasan Rumah Energi
the Yayasan Rumah Energi,
HIVOS menggandeng Yayasan Rumah Energi
so HIVOS with Yayasan Rumah Energi
mentor atau aktor utama dalam mengimplementasikan program
to the appoint the Yayasan Rumah Energi to implement the biogas domestic program. So the Indonesian Biostic Domestic Program, or what we called as the BIRU program, aims to
untuk berkontribusi pada kemakmuran
contribute to the welfare of the economy and the reduction of poverty in Indonesia
dengan menyediakan akses energi
by providing clean and affordable energy for biogas through biogas
dengan pengembangan sektor biogas.
with the development of biogas sector in Indonesia. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
Program BIRU ini sejak
the BIRU program
awal 2009 sampai
since 2009 until
yang sudah mencapai satu dekade ini
until now, over the past decade, has built more than 25,000 biodigesters across Indonesia and has facilitated or
memberikan peningkatan kapasitas
have provided capacity building to the development partners, about 444 local partners or agencies that have been the construction partners, or what we call with CPO, and we have 1,444 and supervisors and handyman. And this program has covered more or less 119,000 beneficiaries who have access clean energy with domestic biogas and utilizing the derivatives from the biogas, which is the fertilizers, what we call bioslurry. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue to listen to the presentations of our four speakers for today, I would like to have a group photo. So for all the speakers who have not turned on your camera, please do so for our first group photo of the day. Okay, thank you. Maybe from the organizer, if you can commence with taking the photo. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, next, I will introduce the four speakers for this morning, and to let each of the speakers to present their materials. First, we have from the representative of Yayasan Rumah Energi, from Agung Lenggono. So Agung Lenggono is the program manager for the BIRU program. So apart from acting as the beer program manager, so he is also the lead or the person in charge, the key person in charge for the technical in the technical programs in the BIRU program, where currently he is building a new innovation which we call smart biogas, where we will listen to explanation in detail on the smart biogas. And Pak Agung, you have 15 minutes for your presentation.
Untuk itu saya persilakan.
The floor is yours.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu Ida.
Okay, thank you very much,
Selamat pagi Bapak
Ibu
Ibu
Ida.
sekalian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. Peace be upon us.
Terima kasih yang terhormat para narasumber dan
Thank
para
you. I would like to
hari ini bisa mengikuti
greet all the speakers and the participants for today
dalam satu rangkaian untuk pengenalan teknologi
on the introduction for the BIRU technology innovation. Allow me to provide a presentation so you may get the idea of the technology that we're currently developing.
Saya langsung memulai saja.
Okay, let me start.
Untuk temanya yang
So for the theme from the organizer is the innovation of biotechnology and the application of sensor application for biogas by myself, August Lenggono, as the BIRU program manager. So I have joined the BIRU program about 8 years and several innovations. So we have developed some innovations and have introduced to the public at large so they can obtain many benefits across Indonesia.
Ya, sedikit saya memberikan informasi
So just a little bit of overview of the BIRU program journey. So if you attend the day one plenary session, so you have obtained the a little bit of overview as well on the timeline. So I would like to review. So since 2009, HIFOS with the Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources and several other stakeholders have established or have initiated a program which we call the BIRU program. So this was in 2009. So until the next 3 years in 2012, and then we established the Yayasan Rumah Energi, and in 2013, so the program grow exponentially, where YREA with HIVOS have registered the BIRU program to be able to join the carbon rating or carbon market. So every biogas reactors can reduce the CO2. So if you can see here, there is an image of the first biogas reactor that we installed with which used the fixed dome technology with the material of concrete. So we certified, but not in an institutional way, but in the BIRU program, we provide trainings. So the installed biogas by the handyman or the technician meets the standard and quality. And at the same time, we also cooperate with the MEMR, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, and the BSN, or the National Certification Agency, for the installation method. So maybe later on in his presentation, Pak Beni can explain. So this is on the method to install the biogas from concrete in a proper manner. So all the construction refers to the this national standard, which is 72628. Sorry. So we have the Indonesian national standard, and the reactor refers to this standard. Continue along the way, and the biogas program developing, and then in 2019, the development of the biogas technology. So with across the years, we also experience inflation. So,
di atas kertas reaktor
so
atau
on
PV
paper,
yang
the
kami
the
buat
biodigestion,
dengan
the installed
teknologi baur buah
biodigester
ini
with the fixed
tidak
dome
lagi
type
murah.
is
Yang
not
tadinya kalau kita
affordable
bandingkan
anymore. It's
di
not cheap anymore. So if
tahun-tahun
we
sebelumnya
see
dimulai
from
dari
the previous
harga 2
years,
juta
so
sampai
from 5 million
2019
Indonesian rupiah, and then in
itu sudah
2019,
mencapai hampir 9
so
juta atau
about
10 juta
9 to 10 million
rupiah per
rupiah.
unitnya. Oleh karena itu kita berpikir keras bagaimana
So
caranya
we think
supaya
about how we can,
seluruh masyarakat khususnya di
we
Indonesia ini
as
juga
the public in
bisa
Indonesia
memproduksi
can
energi melalui
access clean
instalasi
energy
biogas
through
yang
the biogas
lebih
installation
terjangkau.
with a more
Kemudian
affordable
kita
cost.
mencoba melakukan
So
inovasi
we
meskipun di
we try to do
2020
some innovation. So
kita sudah
previously our
melakukan
innovation,
beberapa inovasi
so we have done
yaitu
some innovations
dengan genset dan
with
beberapa
with
penggunaan energi
generators
lainnya.
and with some
Dari tahun
other
2019
technology
kita mulai
developments. And then in
melakukan inovasi
2019 we
kembali
tried
untuk
to
bagaimana caranya membuat
conduct new
biogas yang
innovations
terjangkau.
on how
Kami
to provide a
mulai
more
sejak
affordable
2018,
biogas. So in
kemudian
2018
2019
and then in
kami bertemu dengan
2019 we met
Pak
with
Beni sebagai
Pak Beni
koordinator tim
as the
BSN
coordinator
mencoba
from the
merancang
BSN
bagaimana
team
sih kita mau
to formulate on
membuat harga
how
yang lebih
we can
terjangkau. Akhirnya
we can
dalam
create
proses
a
yang
more affordable
kita bisa membuat satu
biodigester. So
prototipe
in
dengan
2019 we have created a
satu
prototype
peluncuran di beberapa
and
wilayah
we
untuk
tried to pilot it
pengembangan
in several
instalasi
regions
biogas yang
for the installation,
terjangkau
for a more
dan
affordable
bahan bakar
installation
minyak
with
dan
the material of
berdasarkan harga
polyethylene.
minyak. Terus kemudian
And
di tahun
then
2020
in 2020,
menyambung 2019
so from the efforts from
ketika
2019,
BSN menyusun
so with our colleagues in
draft
BSN or in
atau
National Certification
SN
Agency, we formulate
standar
the
implementasi
draft of
untuk
SNI or
pembuatan
Indonesian National
biogas
Certification for the
dari
method
ethylene.
of
Kita
a
ini
biogas
kita sedang
reactor
berproses
construction with
mudah-mudahan
the materials of
2027
polyethylene.
SNI-nya keluar dan
So we have
Indonesia
obtained the SNI,
bisa
and the
mendapatkan
Indonesian
biogas sesuai
society
dengan
can
international
hopefully
standard.
provide, hopefully can obtain
2021
this
ini
new
saat
biogas
ini juga
with the
kami
standard.
selain
So in
memiliki
2021,
teknologi biogas
apart
yang
from having the new
terjangkau
and
harganya,
more affordable
kita mencoba untuk
um,
menambahkan
biogas
satu
units,
inovasi lagi
we are
untuk
also
mempercepat
trying to
dalam
develop a new
proses
innovation
monitoring
to
biogas
support the
tersebut.
monitoring process.
Informasi
So
yang kami
information
dapat sampaikan
that
bahwa
we
di
can share
Louhenapessy,
is the
contohnya
Yayasan Rumah
setiap tahun
Energi.
kami melakukan
So
namanya
annually
biogas user survey yang dimana
we conduct biogas user survey
dalam
where,
biogas survey ini
so in the
untuk
user survey,
mendapatkan
to
informasi
obtain
terkait kepuasan
information
pelanggan
regarding
dengan
the
biogas tersebut
satisfaction of the
dan juga kita
users,
mendapatkan informasi di
and to
mana
also obtain the information
mana sekali biogas yang masih
where
berfungsi
are
ada yang
the
mendapatkan masalah dan mana yang sedang
units that are still
berfungsi.
functioning
Nah,
or
di tahun
not
2022
functioning
ini
properly. And then in
kami
2021,
mencoba
we
secara
tried
bagaimana caranya kita memonitoring dari
on
awal jika
so
ada
we can have an early monitoring
masalah sedikit
if
sehingga
whenever there's a
akhirnya
problem in the
mengidentifikasi
biodigesters, so we
bahwa
can
ini
identify it
menjadi masalah tidak
and would
berikutnya.
not be
Kita
a
sebutnya
problem
identifikasi untuk mendapatkan
down the line.
informasi
So this is
itu
on
tugas
the
kita.
identification on the issues.
Kita lihat ke
Next slide.
selanjutnya. Ya, inilah salah satu inovasi yang
So
kami
this is one of the
kerjakan pada
innovations that
tahun
we tried to
2019.
develop
Nama
back in
Biomiru
2019. So this is called
Biomiru Swadaya.
Biomiru.
Kenapa? Nanti karena ada Biomiru yang
So
aplikasi.
this is called
Biomiru
as
itu
Biomiru
singkatan.
Swadaya
Biomiru adalah
or self-managed
dari
Biomiru.
biogas mini
So
rumahan.
this is an abbreviation of
Artinya
Biogas Mini
teman-teman
Rumahan or
sekalian
mini biogas,
energi
domestic
atau
mini biogas.
kami kita menyebutnya adalah next gen biogas.
So so within our
Merupakan
circles we
instalasi
call it
biogas
next
yang
gen
didesain
biogas. So
pada
this is
awal
designed in the
2019
beginning of
sejak
2019, but has
2018.
been researched on the previous
Tentunya
years since
tujuannya
2018.
hanya
So the
yang
objective is
pertama adalah
so first of
reduksi
all
effective
is
cost itu
how to
sendiri.
reduce the cost.
Tetapi selanjutnya kita berpikir
But then
juga
we think
bagaimana sih
about
kita
how we
mengakomodir
can
masyarakat
accommodate
atau calon pembeli
the
biogas
public or
yang memiliki
the
limbah ternak lebih
user
satu
that
ton.
has
Karena
less than
seperti kita tahu bahwa
one
reaktor biogas atau
um,
biodigester yang BRE atau yang dibuat
that
oleh
farm that has
BIRU itu
less than usual
dimulai dari 4
livestock.
sampai
So
3 detik,
normally we start
yang
from
mana
4 cubic meters,
membutuhkan kotoran
which
sapi
requires
sekitar 30 sampai 40
about
kilo
30 to
dari
40
3 sampai 4
kilos
ton. Sehingga
of
bagaimana
waste or
kita
manure.
untuk
So how we
para
could
peternak
how
sapi
could this
memiliki sapi
farmer
itu.
who have less than that number. So we try to make some innovations and hence we create a smaller unit. And apart from that, we also have another plan in the future on how the biogas would not cover the um, regions that only have livestock or farming. So we also target urban areas. So despite they don't have any feedstock from um, manure for organic manures, so maybe we can use domestic waste from the kitchen, and we can use and we can meet for cooking, despite not sizable, but hopefully it can be used for the um, the garden around the house. So we have a pilot, and the domestic waste from the kitchen or from food waste. So we put in the unit, and and we can get the gas and the fertilizer. So we've built about 50 units, and dominated where this is dominated in Nusa Tenggara or West Nusa Tenggara. And many people are interested with this model because due to its affordability and the limited area use for the installation. So like I mentioned earlier, because more and more people are interested, so this has become the base of why the YRE and the BSN to develop an SNI, where it govern all the method for the biomuro. Otherwise, if it's not regulated, it would create um, mismanagement and would become an issue in the future. So with BSN, we have started since the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. And in this year, 2021, we have entered the a special phase to obtain the directives and inputs on what are the things that we need to do to for the SNI. So currently, this is still in draft. S- Um, and the materials that we use is polyethylene, which normally is used in the material store or tool stores, which is normally used for the water tanks. So one of the unique things, if you can see here in this image, so this gentleman really wanted to have his own biogas unit. So he lives in the edge of Jakarta. So and then he said, I didn't think that I can actually carry the biogas unit on my back. So normally we would take the materials from the truck, and then we need to build it in one area. And I have never thought that I can carry it on my back. So if anyone order, because I will follow the trainings for biogas, so I just can carry the biogas on my back. So I don't need any vehicle. So this is, I think, a unique selling point of this new innovation. And then one of the success stories is uh, uh, one of the users. So during the pandemic, so he was a guide for a ecotourism. So he is Angga. His name is Angga. So he has own. Due to the lack of jobs, so he tried to plant some crops and fish. So and then he experienced that the biomiru or the mini biogas can provide a solution and the benefits from Biomiru. So from Yayasan Rumah Energi, when getting this success story um, is driven to create more innovation so the public or society can obtain more benefits from our technology. Okay, so if we talk about the self managed Biomiru, due to the enthusiasm from the society, where the bioslurry can be utilized for as fertilizer and to fertilize the gardens around the house. So we try to facilitate and cooperate with several manufacturers in Jakarta to create to scale up the construction. So if we have more demands, we can support it swiftly, and so we don't want to have lack of supplies when there are more demands. So we develop Biomiru with two materials. So the first is polyethylene, and the second is fiber. So this is more to improve or to improve the quality and to of course to make the quality uniform. So of course, for first the plant would have quality control or QC. So first of all, apart from getting a similar or uniform quality and to meet the increasing demand. So for those who try to build their own, and if they need support, so we also have this in supply. So so in terms of the design, so the materials are fiberglass and the other is polyethylene. So this is the new design that we are currently developing. So the middle is the fiberglass design, and then on the right-hand side is polyethylene. So another ones we are building a prototype. So the left-hand side is a portable design. So this is aimed at a more portable and easy to move. So this is still in prototype. So we try to scale the uh, manufacturing to production. So this is smaller, but we can put it anywhere. But in terms of but the fact on the ground that we cannot utilize we cannot yield a lot of gas since it's mini size, but when we put the organic materials in the units, just like other biogas units, so we can use the gas and the bioslurry can be used for fertilizer. So we have different sizes, so or capacity. So for from 1 to 3 cubic meters, but we suggest or we recommend to the users for the users to build at least 1 to 2 cubic meters. So it would not take a lot of space and it's easier if in one day you want to move it elsewhere. So after you put it on the ground and then if you want to move it anywhere in the future, so I think it would be possible. So this is our current design. So if you can put it, yeah. So yeah, we yeah we already you're already run out of time. Okay, and one more, the last one is in 2021. So we have done a piloting for the sensor application for to monitor the biogas performance in each of the region. So with this tool, with can help all of us to monitor whether the biogas is functioning, whether there's any constraints, so we can monitor it remotely with the sensor application. Next. So if you can see on the slide, so on the bottom, so you can check. So after we install it, so we can monitor the location of the unit. So and then we can see the graphic whether the biogas how many gas yield that is produced every day. So when is the time of issue or problem? So the technology will facilitate the all the partners for BIRU partners and the BIRU program itself to monitor the installed units. So there would be no more issue in the future. So even if there's issue, we can identify it as early as possible. Okay, thank you very much. So just a little bit of a presentation me, and I would return the floor to Ibu Ida. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Agung, for your presentation.
Sangat komprehensif.
A comprehensive presentation. So that was a little bit overview on several innovations that have been done during the past decade, where initially the Bureau program only focused on the development of fixed dome biogas, but during the course of time to capture the opportunities, the market opportunities, they have done some new innovations. So, for example, the BioMiru, and then as well as the remote area sensor to monitor the performance of the biogas unit. Okay, and then for those who have questions, please write them down in the chat box. So after all speakers present their materials, we'll have a Q&A session, and you can also raise hand to pose direct questions. And next, we will listen to the presentations from ATEC or ATEC. So ATEC is an enterprise who also developed the domestic biogas in Cambodia. So ATEC, so the main headquarters is in Australia and has made their presence not only in Cambodia but also in Bangladesh. So for ATEC, will be represented by Lachlan Harris. So he will present the topic on innovations of biodigesters and in terms of technology for materials and portability, and innovations for the mechanism of financing, where ATEC currently has used the PAYGO system for financing of their biogas, aimed at for market penetration, both Indonesia and abroad. So for that, I would like to give the floor to welcome Mr. Lachlan.
Hi.
Yeah, please. You have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Okay, no problem. Salam alaikum, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Apologies, I have to do this in English. Can everyone see my presentation? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my name's Lachlan Harris. I'm from ATEC Biodigesters. So ATEC has, we're an Australian company, but we operate in Cambodia and Bangladesh. We've been in Cambodia since about 2015, and we've produced and sold over 1,700 small-scale biodigesters. In 2019, we rolled out pay-as-you-go for biodigesters in Cambodia. And in 2020, we launched full-scale into Bangladesh. Since 2015 as well, we've carried out pilot projects in 7 other countries besides Cambodia and Bangladesh. And that includes a few pilot installations in Indonesia. So just a bit of a summary about our product. So they're prefabricated polyethylene biodigesters. They can be installed in areas of high groundwater or seasonal flooding, which in countries like Cambodia and Bangladesh is a lot of the country. So in Cambodia, for example, around 80% of the rural areas are subject to seasonal flooding. So the traditional brick and mortar biodigesters, which are underground, are not suitable. they're very fast installations, so we can install our systems in probably 2 to 3 hours. They can be moved and or on-sold as an asset to the family. They can be connected into toilets if the user wants that. We currently offer 2 sizes. When I talk about sizes, this is gas production per day. So we offer a 1.35 cubic meter system and a 1.8 cubic meter system. And we're investigating other sizes at the moment. So our design is patented and it's been verified through detailed finite element analysis from some consultants in Australia. So the biodigesters are produced using what's called rotational molding. So in steel molds on basically in ovens or on what this is called a rock and roll machine. There's some basic assembly on site. So when the biodigester is delivered to a customer's house, we install some pipes on it as well as the gas line and kitchen appliances. But all of that only takes about 2 to 3 hours. And then we provide extensive user training once the installation is finished. So in terms of Pago, so in 2019, we designed, patented and rolled out Pago Biogas. So this allows farmers to pay off their biodigesters in manageable sort of $15 to $30 monthly payments. To date, over 500 units have been sold in Cambodia on Pago, and we now see probably more than 90% of our sales being on Pago as opposed to cash sales. So we partner with Engaza, who are a leading Pago software provider based out of America. So by having a biodigester, farmers' income in Cambodia can increase on average by $43 per month. So that can be on increased crop yields, savings on fertilizer, savings on time. So if a farmer is only paying $15 to $30 a month for 2 to 2.5 years to pay off the biodigesters are actually still cash positive even while they're paying them off. So Pago for us in Cambodia has been a very successful product that we've rolled out. And yeah, we're now sort of looking to potentially do it in Bangladesh as well. So some of the market constraints in the biogas sector that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of is appropriate technology. So 90% of small-scale farmers in Cambodia, for example, experience like challenging environments. So it might be seasonal flooding, high groundwater, earthquakes, cyclones. And in these scenarios, traditional designs like brick and mortar ones aren't really suitable, or they break easy, or they can flood. So the ATEC biodigesters are suitable in these scenarios. So we sort of remove that market constraint, as do a lot of prefabricated biodigesters. So in terms, the second constraint is also scalability. So how do you get more biodigesters to more people? So traditional brick designs rely on masons who construct the systems out of brick and concrete. It's very high skilled. Apologies. Quality control can be an issue. After sales service can be an issue. And scalability, so reaching more people, is a significant barrier with brick and mortar biodigesters. So with our biodigesters, they're very easily installed and maintained. And the third market constraint that we've tried to resolve is access to finance. So farmers have a payback period of about 1 to 2 years on our system in terms of what savings they'll make. Now, while some financing options are available, like microfinance institutes, in places like Cambodia, these are quite onerous with really high interest rates, collateral being required for loans, and being quite difficult to actually access finance. So through Pago, we've made our biodigesters accessible and affordable to basic pyramid households. which means, yeah, more people can afford a biodigester and we can have a larger impact. So these three big market constraints we largely are resolving through our product and the technology that we're implementing. Yeah, that's all from me, and yeah, look forward to any questions later.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lachlan. Ya, jadi Pak
Right.
Lachlan Harris.
So Lachlan Harris is the lead engineering from ATEC.
Tadi mohon maaf saya lupa.
So apologies, I haven't introduced him before.
Ada yang menarik dari presentasi.
So I think the interesting point in his presentation is that ATEC has managed to develop a financing system through PAYGO. So I think this is really interesting to be discussed. So we can further discuss on this PAYGO model and how the ATEC technology can provide several accessibilities or ease of installation. So we can install it for about 2 to 3 hours. So pretty short, and it's movable and can be an asset for investment. So you can sell it whenever you don't need it anymore. So for those who have questions, please go ahead to write down your questions in the chat box. So and then we would accommodate and respond to your questions after this. But apologies, the ATEC representative cannot follow us or join us till the end because he has another agenda at the same time. Great, thank you very much, Lachlan. So next, we'll go on to the third speakers of the day from the National Certification Agency of BSN, who will be represented by Benny or Bendjamin Louhenapessy. So he is the head of the Research and Development Center, who will present the role of BSN in providing support for the producers and the consumers to ensure that the biogas products, in terms of the installation and the technology and the materials used, have met the standards of quality and the product quality by the government. So Benny, you have 15 minutes for the presentation. So for that, the floor is yours. Okay, thank you, Ibu Ida. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum. Peace be upon us. Good morning, everybody. So I would like to present on the standardization of the support of biogas. So ladies and gentlemen, so I would like to share based on the slide that I have created.
Mohon izin Ibu Ida, sudah tampak slide kami?
So Ibu Ida, can you see my slides? Yes. So ladies and gentlemen, so this morning I will present on the theme today, which is the 1 decade of journey of Indonesian Biogas Development Program, within the theme of capturing the opportunities in biogas market development. So the title of the presentation on the Indonesian national standard to support the Indonesian domestic biogas program. So as mentioned by Pak Agung as the first presenter, so to support the biogas, the BIRU program, so we need the standard to ensure the quality of the biogas that will be produced, and then secondly to ensure the quality of the technology and the units for the biogas. Ladies and gentlemen, I will share the research results, where the research that so based on the cooperation between the research and development R&D center of BSN with the YRE since 2019 to 2021, and hopefully it can be continued in the future. So next slide. So for the first slide is on, so the agenda for today is on the partnership between the R&D center and the YRE 2020 and 21. Background, we have literature, and the fourth is the research results of the SNI, and then the scientific publication in the international proceeding or journal. Six is the summary, and seventh is the documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, so this is a form of the MOU, so the mutual of understanding between BSN and the Yayasan Rumah Energi in 2020. So as we mentioned before, so this research is done in cooperation with the Yayasan Rumah Energi, or YRI, or RE. So we started in 2020. So this is a form of MOU that has been performed. So on this, we registered this in the Ministry of Research and Technology, and then we continued in 2020. So this is the form of the second MOU in 2021. So we performed the research for the development of bioenergy. So this is the foundation of the cooperation between the BSN and the Yayasan Rumah Energi. And then we go on to the background. So in our research, that the policy can be a foundation for the development of bioenergy. So the legal umbrella, or the legal regulations, is the law number 3056, and then down to the regulation of the Director General of the New Renewable Energy and Energy Conservation from the Ministry. So for the development of the research for the biogas is based on the regulations, starting from the highest law down to the regulation of the Director General. So in the Presidential Decree number 79, 2014, on the target for the national energy policy, so for 2025 is 23% is renewable energy from the national energy mix, and the bioenergy is targeted about 26%. So this has the foundation on the importance of biogas in supporting the government plan to substitute LPG with biogas and with the methane gas. So this is the foundation as how the biogas can be one of the renewable energy that is currently being developed. And then the potential and the utilization of bioenergy. So if you can see from this slide, so in the development of the technology innovation, so our concern is on the raw natural resources of the bioenergy. So in this case, it's the biogasification, as in the stipulated in the presidential decree in anaerobic digestion, goes to distribution, and then we have the result as the gas or biogas. So we can see here on the right hand side we have the biogas program, and we have a special allocation fund for the rural energy. So the development of the SNI is supporting the biogas industry, which I think we see this as an appropriate program to support the government plan for new and renewable energies. And then for the utilization for the biogas, so if you can see the red line, so biogas coming from from uh, uh, from tofu, from manure, and then from palm oil, potentially can yield 1 million units. So the Indonesian potential to have 1 unit of biodigesters. So and then the install capacity. So the current installed capacity is 150,000. 15,000, apologies, and some from Pak Agung's explanation. So YRE has developed about 25,000 units of biogas. So the question, how many more do we need if we compare from the 1 million unit of biodigesters? So I think the utilization, we have mentioned that one of the utilization is to substitute the fossil fuel in this case is oil and firewood. So biogas needs standardization. In this case, is SNIs to support the quality control of the biogas and the installation. So from our research in 2019, so you can see in the slide that the number, from the previous slide, you can see that we still need 1 million units of installed biodigesters. Meanwhile, we can only achieve, so the data from 2019, you can see here that the BIRU program, so we have installed about 314 units and have produced
meter kubik biogas per hari.
35,777.6 cubic meters of biogas per day. And then those that is built by the government plan, and then on the blue column from the special allocation fund, and then we have also those built by other line ministries and the PTS SWEN. So from this slide, we can summarize, we can take the takeaways. So until 2020, so the number of the biodigesters we have about 43,906 units of biodigesters and produce about 74,665 cubic meters of biogas per day, or annually 25.86 million cubic meters. So the question now, if until 2020, Indonesia has 43,906 units, and the target in the slide is 1 million units. So the question is, how many more that will be built or installed? So compared to India, so in a monthly basis, they can produce 50,000 biodigesters or 50,000 tanks. So Indonesian opportunities or chances to build more biodigesters are important, or the more important. So from the next slide, so the program for utilizing biogas and the presidential decree related to energy, that the opportunities for biogas will produce 23% of the energy mix, and one of them is from biogas. And so you can see here that biogas, domestic biogas, that has been explained by Agung. So and then we also have the communal biogas. So this is from urine and human feces that is currently being and currently SNI is being. Apologies, you only have 5 minutes. So we have a biogas for the industrial scale. So you can see from 2019 to 2025. So we can we'll produce about 95.6 million cubic meters. So from the latest data, so about 447,000 units. So and then with the production of the biogas, so you can see the distribution out of the 31 provinces in Indonesia, which in total about 47 units. So this is what is being currently developed by the MEMR as the roadmap for the biogas industry from 2020 to 2025. And then next slide is our research program. So we start with our research from the policy, and then down to recommendation for the SNI that has been explained before by Pak Agung. Now, so the SNI support the domestic biogas program. So we have, so the first SNI is the 8019 to 2014, and then the last but not least is number 6 and 7. So for 2020, so for low pressure biogas, and for those with polyethylene material. So this is in the stage of we're in the stage of technical coordination meeting. So this is our target. So in 2020 is the SNI for low pressure biogas with the polyethylene material. So this is still in the recommendation stage and still and being discussed in the MEMR. And then for the then the SNI for low pressure tank. So, so this is being discussed in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources.
Maaf, kami lanjutkan sedikit lagi, Bapak Ibu. Nah, ini Bapak Ibu yang kedua, bahwa kami sekarang sudah
So secondly, we are currently drafting the second SNI. So this is on the drafting in the MEMR. So not just that, we also have published some journals. So, for example, the main parameter analysis in developing low-pressure biogas standards. So we want that the biogas is well known from India. So that's why we wrote this paper in 2019, and that next in 2020 we also published a paper, and that in 2021 we are preparing 3 more papers that will be published in the international journal, a publication. So this summary of our slide, the first is the development of biodigester in the rural society and in the industrial scale is improving in line with the government program for the biogas for domestic biogas and in the downstreaming of biogas industry, and then the development of standardization in SNI supporting the BIRU biogas program, which requires a number of SNI or national standard to support the downstreaming. And then we also need improvement of the scientific publication from the biogas research for the stakeholders and the government, which would impact on the downstreaming of biogas. So this is some of the documentations from in several regions, and then we have visited the Tunjong village in Bogor. So this is the tank for biogas with the material from polyethylene. So that all that we can present for you today. Thank you very much. So then we return the floor to Ibu Ida. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Benny, for your presentation. So I think it's quite comprehensive. So several points that I have highlighted. So talking about the Indonesian national standard indication, especially for the equality. So I think it is important for the developer for the bioenergy. So they need to formulate the SNI to, of course, to formulate to ensure a standard for the installation on the ground, and then you also have the a huge potential from livestock manure, from industrial waste, and from solid waste that can be developed or can be used for biogas raw materials. So again, I would like to remind all the participants, if you have any questions, please go ahead and write it down in the chat box. So next, we will listen to the fourth speaker. So from Verde. So Verde is a company that has become a partner for development for the BIRU program from Indonesia, Singapore. So this will be presented by Jamila as the CEO of PT Verde. For that, so welcome, Madam Jamila. Thank you very much for joining our event for today.
To present your presentation, please, Mrs. Jamila, to present your presentation.
Terima kasih Bu Ida. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Ibu Ida. Assalamualaikum. Peace be upon us. Thank you for the opportunity today.
Because I see that there is, anyways, translation. Yes. Ya, kalau boleh Ibu Ida saya campur-campur.
If I may, apologies for the interpreters. So, I will go back and forth, but I will do most of the presentation in Indonesian. So from Verde. So today I am in Singapore. So I would like to send warmest greetings from Singapore. But normally I would move between Indonesia and Singapore, but because of COVID-19, So it's not easy to move around and to visit Indonesia. So hopefully, so hopefully we can travel soon enough to Indonesia. Okay. So I would like to share a little bit, so because we have a lot of experts here for biogas. So personally, I start the journey since 8 years ago when my first when my first child was born, and then I said to myself, I think there are many things that we need to do to keep our environment. So I start gradually with compost. So I start to compost when I start to recycle, and then bit by bit I try to do the things that I feel would help the world for future generations. So I think that's as a mother, I think we have polluted the environment. So we have disposed the rubbish around, and then how we as an individual can help. And then in my journey, and I'm fortunate to meet biogas, which is a product that was born from the aspiration to help. So try to seek, and if it's already, of course, based on experiment, we can contribute to our other colleagues, to our friends. So home biogas. So the main target is for domestic or kitchen waste or organic waste. So where just similar like the previous products, the majority is for manure from livestock waste. But for domestic, for those who do not have access to livestock manure, but majority from the kitchen. So what can we do with this situation? So that's why. So for me, I think it's amazing that we have a product that has been created to recycle this kitchen waste to become biogas. And with this, with the second derivative or byproduct, which is the liquid fertilizer that we can use for a garden, for example, or park, and then for our crops. And again, this would create a circular system to complete our circular recycling system. So we have done this for 2 years. So we have experimented, we have piloted the biogas product in both in Singapore and Indonesia, and especially in Jakarta, and then we have yield a remarkable, amazing result. So we have also have we have although we have the biomax and zero waste, but our focus, especially related to biogas, is on biogas, home biogas. So for biogas, so it has been distributed in many countries, but for Singapore and Indonesia, this is in the introductory phase. So I'm really grateful. We have Beni from the National Certification Agency, who has explained in detail on how we can obtain the certification and get the training. So I think this is our homework. So if I can continue with you bilaterally. Yeah, thank you, Jamila. So for currently, like just I've been mentioned before, so the experimentation for the past 2 years has been running smoothly, and then the home biogas. I think the difference, what sets it apart with other biogas, is with IKEA a system. So in one box, so we have everything that is required to assemble the biodigester. Apologies, we are losing the audio feed from the speaker.
Mohon maaf, Ibu Jamila, suara
Apologies, we can't hear your voice. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes. So I thought I was muted because I talked too much. Probably your connection. Okay, we have a heavy rain here in Singapore. Okay, so on the next slide, I will try to explain in more detail for the use of home biogas. So next slide, please. Okay. So here we can see. So the one unit of one home biogas unit, where in the left-hand side to activate the biogas. So we use the animal manure. So ideally from herbivore, from cow, from goats. So we only need about 4 to 5 buckets, or about 40 to 80 kilograms of manure for for the start activation, and then when it has activated, we only need the kitchen waste from fruit waste, so either from those who have rotten, or from bones, or from fruit rinds, and then on the bottom side is the water and manure, and other organic waste that we can use this, and the up is the gas bag. So we have a sandbag or sand. So when the biogas is digested, and then it will simmer, and it will be collected on the bag, and after that we can connect it to the biogas stove. And the current ratio is for every 3 kilos kg of organic waste can be used to cook for about 3 hours. So as long as the temperature and the sun is, of course, is supportive. So normally during the cloudy day, I think the gas production is slower, but since we are in the tropics, I think we have an ideal temperature for this, but we hope that we can have the sun all day long. So just like biogas, other biogas products. So are you using a anaerobic digestion, and it's not different from other products. And then the second byproduct, or the byproduct, is the liquid fertilizer. And then with the Sustainable Development Goals from the UN, so home biogas would cover the 5 targets. Total sustainable goals are set by the UN. Next. So again, I would like to emphasize that the home biogas system comes in a package, in a box, where you can is about how if you ask me how large, it's about 5 to 6 ramen noodles combined all together. So so everything is inside the package. So it's like an DIY IKEA system. So and then we take it home, and I think it can take about 2 to 3 hours, similar like the other products. And for a household, it would be a lot more efficient and easy to use it in your each of the household. That is all for me. I apologies that I cannot stay until the end of the event, but I would gladly to answers all of your questions through my email. Assalamualaikum. Okay, thank you very much, Jamila. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, all the speakers who are still here, before we continue to the Q&A session, I would like for us to have the second group photo before we have other people who have to go. So for those who have not turned on their camera, if you can turn it on now. for the organizers' documentation.
Yang kameranya masih off dan
Okay, for those who are still
masih ada beberapa yang
okay,
masih off.
so we have several people here who have not turned on their camera. If you can do that, please.
Teman-teman dari bahasa global masih banyak yang on. Yang
And then,
mohon teman-teman yang kameranya masih off untuk
okay,
menghidupkan sebentar
for
kami
those who have not turned on their cameras, if you can do so now,
sesi foto bersama.
so we can have our photo group taken.
Baik, apakah sudah bisa
Group photo.
kita foto
So
bersama?
can we do the group photo now?
Iya,
Okay.
silahkan. Mbak.
Yes, please go ahead.
Apa sih tapi sepertinya
So we have several people, but I don't think that they can turn on their cameras.
Mulai ya.
Okay, you can start.
Waktu juga terbatas.
Due to a time constraint,
Hitungan 1
so
sampai
we'll count from 1 to 3.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3.
Sekali lagi.
One more time.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3.
Terima kasih.
Thank you very much.
terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua yang
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen,
selanjutnya
for the group photo. And next, we'll go on or enter the Q&A session.
Ibu Jamila yang terakhir
So from the last presentation from Bendjamin, I think this is one of the innovations for biodigesters, especially for those at urban areas.
saya kira ini menjadi salah satu solusi untuk
So I think this can be one of the solutions to solve domestic waste issue. So hopefully not everything can go to the landfill, and especially for the domestic organic waste that we can manage ourselves at home. So just like hopefully the product that is being offered by Ibu Jamila can be a solution for our lifestyle. So if anyone would like to ask questions for Verde, please go ahead and do it and write it down on the chat, because she cannot stay with us until the end. Otherwise, she will answer it through email. So we have several questions.
yang pertama ini
So the first is from Purianto from Bapeda Litbang of
ini ditujukan
Central Kalimantan.
ini lebih kepada Pak Agung.
So this is for Pak Agung.
Ya. Oke, pertanyaannya adalah
So the question was, what strategy that we can do to support the domestic biogas program in relation to the potential of using the waste, the palm oil waste in the Central Kalimantan? If you can answer that, thank you very much.
mungkin Pak Agung
Okay, maybe Pak Agung
atau Bapak narasumber yang lain
or other speakers can also add some points. We have Pak Benny and then Jamila,
ada Mr. Lachlan Harris.
and then also I think Lachlan Harris. I think okay, we don't have Lachlan anymore, so maybe just Pak Agung, Pak Benny, and Jamila.
Menjawab pertanyaan
So Pak
dari
Agung,
Bapak Wuryanto, Bapeda Litbang Provinsi Kalimantan Tengah.
yeah, to answers the question from the Bapeda Central Kalimantan. So I will respond to that question first, and then maybe the others can help me. Okay, thank you very much for your question. So in relation to organic waste for YRE, I think our specialization, or we focus more on livestock manure and organic waste from the kitchen, from household. So in general, for palm oil, we can use palm oil waste, but we need to identify, since from our experience from the SNI, we also have created the household scale biogas units. And then for palm or for palm oil waste, if I'm not mistaken, there are several types. I think that includes several phases, about 3 phases, and then the terminal phase. So there are still some organic waste that can be used for biogas. So I think it will be interested in Kalimantan, I think it's Central Kalimantan, but we did this in Jambi, in Sumatra, and the waste can be used for a commodity, and it's hard to keep the the waste actually, especially to get the byproduct on the last stage. So in literature, we obtained the information from our consultant, from SMP, that for each of liter of kilogram of the waste can yield a lot of gas, but this normally in a large scale, but at least the biogas unit is at least 50 cubic meters. So for household, for 12 cubic meter, I don't think it would be efficient enough. So I think that's all for me. Maybe other speakers can help me with that.
Terima kasih Pak Agung. Mungkin ada tambahan dari Pak
Thank you,
Beni.
Pak Agung. Maybe we have some more additional points from Bapak Beni. Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Ida. Okay, thank you, Pak Purianto from Central Kalimantan. I think this is a very good question. So we observe the palm oil shell or pomade. I think would have a huge potential for biogas. So in relation to government plan, so if you see in our slide, maybe if you can, so maybe we will share in relation to the roadmap of biogas industry development. So in our slide, we have one related to the biogas development by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources from 2019 to 2025, and one of them is including the palm oil in the large-scale industry biogas. So what Pak Agus has said is more on domestic or household, because if we observe the volume for the shell, where it can produce biogas, it has a huge potential. So I think your question is relevant to government plan, that in the future we will build the biogas industry from palm oil shell, and then we have the homemade. So biogas raw materials from palm oil. So you don't have to worry about Purianto that today the government has initiated the program for industrial biogas from palm oil. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ben, for your explanation. What do you think, Pak Prianta? I hope it can answer your question.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Baik Pak, terima kasih. Bagi Bapak Ibu yang lain, kalau ada pertanyaan silakan.
For other participants, please go ahead, write down your chat, or you can use the raise hand feature if you want to post the question directly. So from questions to ATEC and from Verde, so we can send it through email. So we have Pak Agung and Pak Beni from BSN.
Sekali lagi kalau ada pertanyaan silakan menggunakan.
So one more time, we'd like to remind you, you can write down your questions through in the chat box, or you can raise your hand.
Silakan, Ibu Priyanti Utami, sepertinya.
Ibu Priyanti?
Oke, baik, terima kasih. Baik, sambil menunggu pertanyaan dari audiens, Pak, saya tadi menarik yang.
So I observed an interesting point from Yayasan Rumah Energi from Pak Agung. So on the innovations for domestic biogas program or development. So what we know that in the past few years that the BIRU program has focused on a fixed dome model, and recently you have introduced BIRU. Now, in this case, it targets the users in the urban areas. So I think for the ladies out there, this would be a solution, and I think they are keen to find out more. Usually, ladies, so if they see a product, what they ask would be the function, if they know the function, and then they would ask the price or how much it costs. So let's say one person can say that I only have two by a land of 2 by 3 uh, um, meters. So they would ask whether I can install this a unit, a biogas unit in my house. So if you have a question like that, what would you respond? How would you respond?
Baik, Bu Ida. Dan
Okay, thank you, Ibu Ida.
untuk kebutuhan luas
So for the land area of about, so the smallest that we can accommodate
1 meter,
is 1 by 1.5 meter.
membutuhkan lahan terlalu
So it wouldn't require a huge amount of land,
untuk
and we can install the Biomiru
680 sampai
unit that
1.000
about 650 to 1,000 liters. And then in terms of the cost,
ini bisa dua ya dari
so we have two types. So we can have it from self-paid or from prefabrication. So it starts from 3.5 million Indonesian rupiah. So if you want to make it yourself, it will be, of course, it will be cheaper, and then we can provide the capacity building or the training as well. And then we also have a discussion with one of the manufacturers who are currently developing the fabrication. If there are increase of demand, so we can of course we can decrease the cost because we build it at scale. But this is not included the delivery cost or the shipping cost. So normally in the Jakarta and the greater Jakarta area is about 100,000 for shipping. So because the plant is in Jakarta and Jakarta, so starting from 3.5 million rupiah for fabrication. So you can so you will get the unit and the stuff. But if you want to make it yourself, so it can start from 4 million, I think, and then the most expensive to from 8 to 10 million. Yeah, that is all, Ibu Ida.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Agung.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Agung.
Silakan Bapak Ibu peserta yang lain mungkin
So for other
untuk
participants,
materi Bapak Ibu bisa
so for the
di
materials,
pada link yang
you
disampaikan
can
di Pak Agung.
download
Ada
on the link
disampaikan
that has
juga
been provided
update
on the
atau
chat
download
room.
pada link yang sudah tersedia. Eh, Saya kasih kesempatan kepada Bapak Ibu yang mungkin punya pertanyaan.
I would provide the opportunity. I would like to remind the participants that you still can ask some questions. So, and then I would also would like to address some questions for Pak Beni on the national standard certification standardization. So for the opportunities for the biogas development, so I think Indonesia is one of the development that is required for those who wants to develop biogas. So it is important to have a SNI or the standardization, and hopefully by SNI, apart from ensuring the quality of the biogas unit, and it also will provide a regulation or method for the installation. So because from our experience, so normally we would
rancang sendiri atau
we would have our own design,
sehingga
or we can have our own estimation, and it would trigger a debate between,
kecil satu lokasi dengan
just for example, one like location with one model that is being
saya
developed
pengembang yang
themselves,
biasanya dari SNI
because
pusat
but
gitu kan
because
Pak
one using
sehingga
SNI and one is not.
itu biasanya di pengguna biogas timbul pertanyaan
So
kenapa
normally the users would
lokasi baru
have a
itu
question
seperti
why
ini kenapa
in
di atas itu
site A is using this design, and then this and this, and the other has different design. So that is the importance of having a standardization that is formulated
itu Pak Benny mungkin bisa
um,
memberikan pencerahan terkait
um, in
ini
BSN. So I think if you can illuminate us further on the process of this.
Ada ide dan pemikiran dari
So it is
Indonesia
an excellent
untuk
question, Iwida,
mempertemukan
to
SNI Biogas.
of course to make the SNI readily or
Mohon izin.
available,
Ya,
silakan Pak Benny
ya, mohon izin ya. Bapak Ibu dapat
or
melihat
enforce the standardization across the board. So if you can see,
ya. Oke, Bapak Ibu, ya. Kalau Bapak Ibu dapat melihat slide
so if you can see the
ini,
slide,
dikatakan oleh Pak Agung,
just
di
like what
dalam
Pa
rangka
Agung said. So in designing
teknologi daripada
the
tangki penyaringan
technology of the biodigester, just like what Pa Agung said. So this is on the third SNI, so number 7826 2012. So this is for the biogas digester with the fixed dome with the concrete material. So this has been done and has been installed by Yayasan Rumah Energi for years. So if I'm not mistaken, from 2009 to of course to today. So it has been developed. But in the development of the biodigester, of course, it would require technology. And today, if we use with a concrete dome, where it will require bricks and concrete and require a wide land area. So this would refer to RSNI XX 2020. So this is still in the stipulation stage. So this is for the requirement for the quality requirement for the biogas tank, a low pressure biogas with polyethylene material. So so compared to the traditional method that uses bricks and concrete. So for numbers 6 and 7, so this is used the polyethylene materials, which is simpler than the traditional method. So they can use the water tank, water tank that is used for biodigesting, as long as it's meeting the requirement by the SNI that is currently being drafted. So from if we listen to Ibu Jamila's presentation before, she said that the material is from plastic. So, for example, if we have rodent animals that can consume or can bite the materials, so it would create an unhealthy impact for the environment. So that's why we are developing the materials or the units from polyethylene, and then we also currently also developing or formulating the SNI for a low pressure biogas unit. So from the question from Pak Urianto for the production for biogas from the palm oil shell would meet the requirement for high pressure biogas if this is done in an industrial scale. So for if let's say if you have in palm oil waste if we treat it or we do this in a large capacity, this would meet the requirement for SNI for high pressure biogas unit. So for in terms of the raw materials and whatever, so you can refer to the SNI number 80919 or 10819 8019 2014. So if you download, so you can see the link bsn.go.id. So you can open the SNI for biogas. So the number one is related or relevant to industrial scale biogas for high pressure. So this is for biogas yield from organic waste that has been filtered with a pressure between 200 Pascal or 20,000 kilopascal or 200 bar. So this is the minimum pressure for high pressure biogas. And then in line with Ibu Ida's question earlier, for domestic scale, so the SNI, this is for low pressure biogas unit. So the raw materials is so the raw material or the raw feed stock is from livestock manure or from human excrement. So and then, like what Jamila said, so we can use the domestic waste. So, and then when the biogas is also activated, we can use the kitchen waste. So this is referring to the standardization of SNI with low pressure biogas. So this is the SNI is still in progress, and WIP is new work item proposal. So this is uh, this is an explanation from Ibu Ida's question previously. And then for the SNI number 27639/2011, so for fiberglass biodigesters, so this is the biodigester tank made from fiberglass. So not a promotion, but fiberglass is expensive, but fiber is still being imported from abroad. So we don't have a domestic fiberglass industry to meet the demand of a biodigester. So we develop the polyethylene based biodigester. So this is a locally sourced materials. So for number 6 and 7, have more opportunities to develop biogas out of the polyethylene. So that is all for me. Thank you very much. So we return the floor to you. Okay, thank you very much, Benny, for your comprehensive explanation. So one more time, ladies and gentlemen, to capture the potential, the opportunity of the future biogas markets. I think SNI is one of the absolute requirements to ensure the quality of the biogas units or installations that we will develop in the future. So if you have no further question, so one more time, we will close the session, but before that, so if allow me, Buddha, we have a question. We even though I'm a speaker, but I also have a question. Two questions. So one question to Mr. Lachlan Harris, and one is to Mrs. Jamila. So related to the standardization used in Australia for biogas and the standardization or standard used by Verde in Singapore. So we would like to observe whether they have a biogas standard in Australia, because we would like to have a benchmark, because we're currently developing a low pressure biogas, and in the beginning in our slide we also explain about SNI for low pressure compartment or tank. So if you can forward the questions to Mr. Harris and to Mrs. Jamila. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Benny. Since those two speakers have left the room, so we will note down the questions and we will forward your questions to Harris and Jamila, and hopefully they can answer it through email. So we also have a chat from Irfan Tangu for the organizers that the materials in the link provided is uh, so is still empty. So the link is still empty. So maybe after this or shortly, the organizers can upload all the necessary materials.
Mohon izin
Okay,
Pak Bu Ibu Ida,
Ibu Ida.
di sini ada Dr. Yopi.
So we have
Dr.
Pa
Yopi adalah
Yopi here. Pa
Direktur
Yopi is
Teknik
the
Global
director of
SDMDSN. Selamat datang Bapak Dr. Yopi.
Central of
Pukul 10
Research
kita
and
sudah siap
Development.
diskusi. Silakan Pak, kalau mau Bapak ada
Yeah, please go ahead if you have any question.
ini,
Yeah,
persilakan.
Baik, selamat bergabung Pak Yopi.
yeah. Welcome, Pa Yopi.
Ya, kita masih ada waktu nih Pak. Mungkin ada yang
Do
mau
you
disampaikan,
have,
silakan Pak.
if there's anything that you'd like to share to us? Yeah, that is enough for me. I'm just observing. So we have also the YouTube. So Pa Beni has shared the materials from SNI. So we would like to request for your support on SNI. Yeah, thank you very much.
Terima kasih Pak
Terima
Yopi.
kasih Pak Yopi.
Thank you, Pa Yopi.
Bu Ida, 1 menit Bu, menyambung
1
apa
minute,
yang disampaikan
Bu
oleh Dr. Yopi.
Ida, just to continue the point from Pa Yopi. So we require the support for SNI.
Sekaligus dalam forum ini kami
And in this
mohon
forum, we would like
bahwa
to
saat ini
request
kami sedang membahas
that we are discussing two drafts of SNI with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, and in the technical committee number 2710 is bioenergy waste and gas waste. So we are planning to invite, and so so if you can complete the presence lists. So of course, especially for the biogas industry from Bapeda. So if we write your name, because of course we need your support for the development of the SNI draft. So this is not promotion, but like what Pa Agung listened. Yeah, so we need the support for the requirement of the low pressure gas, biogas. And secondly, the requirement, the standard, quality standard for the polyethylene based biodigester. So we have from suggestion or input from University, Brawijaya University, and then from Bogor Agriculture University. And so I think so it is a positive indication, but also need further support. Thank you very much, Rida.
Baik,
Okay,
terima kasih Pak
thank
Yopi
you,
atas
Pak Benny,
informasinya.
for your information.
Iya, mohon Bapak Ibu kita kembali menghadap
So again, we would have our final group photo before we close the event.
mohon untuk menghidupkan
So please,
videonya.
if you can turn on your camera
Bapak
again.
Ibu yang videonya masih off untuk sebentar berkenan
So if your camera is still off or still,
menghidupkan videonya.
if you can please turn on your camera.
Baik, Bapak Ibu, bisa kita mulai untuk fotonya.
All right, can we start? 1, 2,
3.
3.
Mbak,
Terima kasih.
mungkin bisa ini
Okay.
Mbak sambil ngomong biogas biar ada senyum gitu loh sedikit.
Okay, if you can instruct
Baik, para peserta,
everyone to say biogas.
peserta untuk apa namanya menyebutkan kata biogas.
So if you can, okay,
Ya,
so
baik.
if you can say biogas while we take your proof. Okay, so you can make, okay,
Kita ulangi kembali.
so we can start again. So 1, 2, 3 and say biogas.
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 Ya. Terima
Okay.
kasih.
Mantap Pak Wuryanto.
Thank you.
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu semuanya.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank you.
Iya, kita sudah sampai pada
So we are in the end of our discussion for today. I would like to thank all the speakers who have present their information and to splash a new color for the development of biogas market in Indonesia.
Ada beberapa hal yang bisa saya highlight di sini.
So there are several points that I can highlight here. So for the development of biogas market in the future,
Lapangan saat ini sudah
so currently
beberapa
we have, so in the market we have various options or choices
bisa mengakses energi bersih.
on accessing clean energy through biogas. So we have
Apa namanya biogas yang di
biogas from Pak Agung from Yayasan Rumah Energi
biogas rumah
for domestic biogas. So comprising of the fixed dome type, and then we have the new innovation, which is the BIRU, and then
memonitoring atas
as well as the monitoring tools to for the tracking the performance, and then from Yayasan Rumah Energi is piloting the remote sensor
ini bisa meminimalkan
to minimize or to mitigate the
mengurangi biogas yang ada di remote area. Jadi bisa efisiensi waktu
issues. So this can promote efficiency of cost and time
digester.
for a biodigester. And then
Juga dari ATEC. Nah,
from ATEC,
satu inovasi biogas
so this is also one of the biogas innovations that are quite interesting, because in within a short span of time we can install a unit in 2 or 3 hours, and it's movable.
juga tidak kalah menarik
And then it's also interesting that to access biogas,
ATEC sudah mengembangkan
ATEC has developed a financing system
yang disebut dengan nama
which is
BIRU.
called PAYGO,
Ini sudah
and
ini sudah bisa
the PAYGO can finance about 500 units of biogas in Cambodia,
di Bangladesh.
and also they're currently scaling up in Bangladesh. And then from the strategy, from the biomarket, biogas market strategy, apart from needing or requiring innovations for market penetration, we need to ensure that the quality standard of the biogas unit that we are marketing, or the future potential needs to be ensured. The quality control standard
Luas itu
are
sudah memenuhi
met
standar
and
mutu sesuai dengan dari
adhering
pemerintah Republik Indonesia.
the national standard of the Republic of Indonesia.
Menjamin
And then this is to ensure the
kepercayaan
confidence
bagi
and
pengguna biogas.
the reliability of the biogas. And then from from the last presenter or the speakers on the innovation of home biogas, this is also interesting, where in the future for to meet the lifestyle demand for sustainable and renewable energy, we can create, or we can assemble, self-assemble or DIY the biogas reactor or biodigester. So I think
Yang hadir pada kesempatan kali ini kita sudah punya
we can observe, and
jadi kalau kita kenal bahwa
now we know the choices available, and then that biogas is one of the technologies that quote unquote
dengan perkembangan waktu dan
old-fashioned, but over the course of time, of course, we need new innovations, just like what mentioned previously in the presentation. Hopefully, we can
dukung penetrasi pasar untuk
support the market penetration for the development of biogas market in the future. Thank you very much. I would like to extend my appreciation to the speakers, and before I end the session, so after this,
kiranya Bapak Ibu bisa nanti bergabung di acara
you can join our closing plenary session of a decade of journey of the BIRU program
21 ini.
in 2021.
Saya akhiri dengan ucapan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Mohon maaf jika
And apologies from me if there's any shortcoming.
Tingkah laku kami yang kurang berkenan mohon dimaafkan karena sesungguhnya kesempurnaan adalah milik Allah Subhanahu wa
Because
taala.
perfection belongs to God and mistakes and shortcomings belongs to human.
Salam energi.
Assalamualaikum, and we'll see you
Energi. Terima kasih.
in the next session. Thank you.
Mohon izin live ya Bapak Ibu yang terhormat. Terima kasih Pak Yopi sudah
Okay, thank
berkenan.
you, Pak Yopi,
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu yang
Terima kasih Bapak
terhormat.
Ibu sekalian.
and thank you for everyone.
Thank you Mr. Haris. Thank you Ms. Jamila.
Mana tahun green kan?
Terima kasih